Hey yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. We guys having a fantastic fucking night because I know we are. We're here again. We're talking about Moon Knight. I know I'm going a little fast here, but because I want to get Deeb's opinion on the episode real quick before we start really getting into things because my man's got to leave soon. But he really wanted to talk about this episode, so take it away, my man.
Yeah, Ryan, I think episode 4 pretty much confirms that Kevin Feige enjoys a little Mary Jane on his 420 here, because this was absolutely the most trippy MCU episode in history. I think those scenes in the cave were probably legit also the closest we have ever seen MCU horror. There's a lot to talk about there, so I really dig the mature MCU tone this week. It was really good. And we also had like organs being yanked out and just awesome. And you know Oscar Isaac's acting continues to be next level. For me, I thought the score this week, I've been giving props to the score every single week. And I thought this week it was its best yet. I really liked the development we've got between Layla and Steven. It was really heartwarming to kind of see the nice guy get the girl for once. That was pretty cool in itself. And I think my biggest impression goes to you, Manda. It goes to my guy, Christian. My biggest impression of episode 4 was, how the fuck did you have to wait 4 weeks to talk about the reveal here in the last 10 minutes? I have no freaking clue how you're able to keep that to yourselves. And my other big impression is that I'm just happy to not know anything about Moon Knight. I truly have like some general ideas of where we're going in episode 5 and 6. But man, this is like a roller coaster ride. It's like a dark light roller coaster ride where you don't see the twists and the turns and the corkscrews, and you're just kind of going with it. So awesome episode. Best of the season, period.
No, honestly, absolutely 100% agree with you, Dibes. This is another great episode. I will say, though, might not be my favorite episode. There's still so much to love about this episode. This is our first whole episode without Moon Knight, too. This is our own episode without the titular character, and it shows how much confidence they have in Oscar Isaac in this role, playing Jake Lockley, soon to be Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, playing all these different characters. And it shows how confident they are in this man playing them. And you love to see it, because I'll just say now, one of my favorite moments of this episode was when Mark awakens in the insane asylum and he opens the sarcophagus. I always have a hard time pronouncing that word, so don't fucking bully me, please. But he opens the sarcophagus and it comes out to be Stephen Grant, and you're like, holy shit, bro. We're seeing two of the same guys here. What is going on? We're seeing Layla there. We're seeing Haro there. We're seeing all these different characters. What is going on? This is like, if you guys ever watched the episode of Community when the therapist tried to convince them that they're fucking insane, and they just recreate one of the episodes in an insane asylum. And that's exactly how I feel right now. And I think that's hilarious, because I think one of the Russo brothers might have wrote that episode too. But that's totally besides the point. I'm going on a tangent here. I absolutely love this episode. It was really wholesome and sweet seeing them hug and kind of just feel happy to see each other, because the entire season they've always been at odds. They've always been on different ends of the spectrum about what's right, what's wrong, who does what, who does this, who does that, who goes into the suit, what do you do in the suit. So it's been at an odds between Mark Spector and Khonshu, and without Khonshu, I think you kind of see that Mark and Steven can find that middle ground, but Khonshu's kind of that otherworldly force that kind of unevens them, and that's why they are the way that we've seen them the past 3 or 4 episodes. But yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet, because I know I've been going off on a tangent there. But ever oh sweet Amanda, I'm gonna start saying sweet Amanda because it reminds me of Sweet D from Always Sunny. So it's kind of an insult when you think about it.
I know it is, and that's good. Perfectly fine coming from you. That's great.
You're good.
God, I think this is my favorite episode. I remember watching it like weeks back, and out of the four, I think this one really stayed with me. Like I remembered it more than the other three. Like the other three kind of blended together for me. But watching it back, this fourth one, I just really loved the camera work. I thought the production design was really strong. And I love that we got to see Steven in his element. I mean, he's more knowledgeable about the mythology and, the Egyptian lore. So I like that he was the one going into the cave and kind of discovering all that. And you can see a braver side of Steven, which maybe Mark brought out in him, which I really love. We get to see a bit more of Layla and her backstory. But I just really liked this episode. I thought the twist came perfectly. It was timed perfectly. And then when you go into the asylum, they do have these callbacks from the first three episodes, which is really strong. And I think that we are going to get Jake Lockley because we do have a third sarcophagus in the mental asylum. So I thought that it was really well executed in the second half, and it's gonna have us talking until episode 5. And I don't think that they kind of had that cliffhanger with the first 3 episodes, and now this is gonna hit each time until the finale, I think.
The thing I'm kind of just gonna get out of the way now that kind of makes me upset is they set up that Steven is the more intellectual one while Mark is the more combatant one. Mm-hmm. And even though Steven's not very good under stress, he is from a logical standpoint. Like he can think things fast on the spot. So I find it very weird that they both kind of just ignored this third or second sarcophagus after just experiencing what they did and not coming to any type of assumption that there might be a third personality in there after completely hinting at it in the episode before. And I felt it feels like this would have been a natural spot to introduce Jake Lockley, and I just don't understand why they keep teasing him. I'll just leave it at that. I'm sure someone's gonna give their opinion on that in a minute or so. But Loretta, what do you think of this episode, my man?
I loved it. And it's funny. It's like, not that I'm getting fatigued from actual cape shit and superhero shit, but like I said from last review, I really enjoy the adventure tomb raiding aspect of this series, and Stephen Lang breaking down all the clues. And did I say Stephen Lang? Holy shit, Stephen Grant.
You did. It's okay.
Stephen Lang is a great actor,
at least
by the
same
way.
universe. Yeah. At least the
I
same
thought you
universe.
said Scott Lang, and I'm like, yep, I got you.
But so yeah, no cape shit, no Moon Knight suit. But I this was my favorite episode so far. I just love the element going deep diving into the caves, and Dibes nailed it. Kind of took the words out of my mouth. We had a straight up like horror chase scene through the shadows and through the caverns, and also the introductory to getting to the tomb was phenomenal. I mean, that's what I was here to see. Like when they were first going into the canyon, they were like underneath that, and it was like barely touching each other, and like the way it was shot was just gorgeous. And I know Rye, you weren't a big fan of her character, but I'm not gonna lie, I get invested in these characters, and I tend to ship, if you guys know what that means. I was shipping Layla and Steve from day one. So my boy got the kiss. I was rooting for him, and I was like, yeah. I was like, not as strong as like when Peter kisses MJ. It's not built up that greatly, but like it was built up enough for me to be excited about it. So that was awesome.
And he's building it on honesty. Gotta love Steven, man.
Yeah, and I was gonna say this for my favorite moments, but I gotta talk about it since I'm already talking about it. I loved also that Mark like immediately punched him in the face after they kissed.
All right,
that was golden.
I have a legit question for you guys. We're all horror fans here. Did you guys jump when the zombie took Layla into the darkness? I jumped. I legit did not see that coming.
I was so happy with it because they did something like that. It was really cool because she looked in the crack of it and then he came out. I was like, oh, it's perfect.
Well, I didn't jump Dibes, but what I enjoyed was that the way that scene played out didn't go the way I thought it would, because she came back out for a second and I was like, oh, she's okay, and then they pulled her back again. I was like, oh shit. So that was kind of cool. And then all of a sudden the next shot, it cuts from darkness and she's holding his hand, so obviously she's fighting him. So I thought that was kind of cool, like letting us not really know what was happening but showing us the aftermath was kind of cool.
There was one thing that totally took me out of that though. And sorry if this is just like such a film thing or just like an editing thing in general, but when she goes and rolls off the cliff to kill it, the mummy, it goes to a wide shot of just the cliff showing that she rolled off. And then it goes to a close-up of her on the edge right at the top. And I'm sitting there like, wait a second, bro, where the fuck did you come from? Like I said, took me out of it, but I know it's a very small, like one of those type of gray things, because that not perfectionist, just like nitpicky. It's a very nitpicky thing. But I do agree. That was a great fucking horror scene that I was shocked that they were putting in this episode, because as soon as this episode ended, I'm like, wow, Marvel just dropped the better mummy movie than Tom Cruise. Like,
I was just gonna say,
Anybody-
Tyler continues to be the king of our comment section. He brought that up earlier, where he said Moon Knight made a better version of the Mummy than Tom Cruise did. So shouts out to Tyler.
Legends of the Hidden Temple for me. That's
yeah,
the vibe I
baby.
had. It was great.
Oh man, yeah. So Layla, you brought that up again. I like her a little bit more in this episode, but maybe it's just my frustration that I don't think the kiss or the reveal that Mark was there when her dad died was like, I don't think it really paid off in any manner. It seemed like, why have this here? Why have this now? I didn't really think about this twist until maybe the last 10 minutes of the last episode, because I know they hinted at it in the first episode or something, or second episode, and then they never like really brought it up again until the end of last week's. And
You know, it's funny, Ryan. That was my only gripe with this episode, because they were like doing that moment and it felt rushed. Because then Harrow came.
Exactly, because
So
I like
agree,
what they were building there. We said it last week. They have this relationship building, and now I'd even consider the end of this season a little close or a little too much, because we've only got 2 episodes left in the season at this point. And I don't know, especially when they're trying to convince us that her and Mark have been married for so long and have been madly in love. I don't really know that being around Steven that long and feeling a little bit cherished after Mark disappearing for a few months and kissing and feeling, I don't know that whole psychology. It just felt super out of place, disconnected, and was like they wanted to have that oomph of the episode. Like, yes, they needed to have that emotional push of their love story, I guess you can say.
But I feel like Layla has better chemistry with Steven than she has with Mark. So yeah, I do, because the difference between Mark and Steven in the relationship with Layla is that Mark and Layla have this comfort where they've known each other for such a long time. And then that's the difference between like feeling that detachment between the two of them. Because I don't feel like there's like that kind of love there. Whereas with Steven and Layla, their relationship's completely different because they understand each other on an intellectual level. And I think that speaks to them more. So there's a different level of chemistry. Was the kiss rushed? Maybe, but I still think that kiss was warranted given how they built the relationship from episode 2.
Can I piggyback on that a little bit?
Yeah.
I think also if you look at the way Layla looks at her. By the way, I gotta shout her out because I've been screwing this up for 3 weeks. May Kalamaui. I don't know how to say her name, but she is fantastic. And honestly, the way she looks at him, like she's attracted to Steven's passion for the artifacts, his knowledge of Egyptian stuff. Like when he starts doing that, she looks at him with like a smile and a wonder, and like I think that's what she's attracted to as well. Like his the intellect of Steven, I think.
Oh no, it kind of felt like they didn't really know what to put in this episode without Khonshu playing a role in it, and I felt like they didn't really know what to do with that love story or really how to progress it in a more natural way. But I'm hoping that in the next episode we do get this whole type of reveal of Mark's life, the whole dissociative identity disorder case, like what's going on with that, because we're 4 episodes in and we still don't know anything about Mark, Khonshu. The only things you can really put together is that Khonshu came to Mark when he got shot by the hitman that killed Layla's father, his ex-partner. That's as far as the story that you can probably put into context. And that really doesn't say much to anything other than the reveal that they revealed this week, which totally felt rushed. But other than that, what the fuck I would look like Oscar Isaac this way?
Tyler, yes.
How'd you guys feel the episode flowed without having any of the more superhero aspects of the TV show?
I liked it because it was more character focused. I think we got to like sit with Steven for a bit. We got some more backstory on Layla, which was fine. But I do think that if they didn't have the twist going to the ward like they did in that case, then I feel like that would have been like the Moon Knight, Mr. Knight, Khonshu placement. So they had to like put the twist in instead of having the rest of them come in. So I think that it was structured that way so we wouldn't miss Khonshu that much and miss the suits and the action in that way. But we got to see Steven be more hands-on, and he had the action scenes versus Mark. So I thought that was really cool too. So I think it was just more like grounded in this episode than to deal with the rest of them.
Oh no, yeah, easily. I gotta say, the ending, not the ending itself, I don't think it's as shocking as Twitter really just made it out to be for the past 4 weeks, to be honest. I don't think it's really this super hyped up moment, but I love the whole scene in general. And I really hope they stay with this the next episode, because I can't tell you how curious I am to explore whatever world this is that Harrow made. And I'm pretty sure it's in his mind. Maybe, I don't know. What?
I have a theory.
Okay, then say it.
I think it's in Jake Lockley's mind because he's the third sarcophagus and they didn't reveal him. So it's not in Arthur's mind, it's in Jake's mind. That's my theory. Moving into
But how would they explain that though?
How do they explain anything in this show with the split stuff? Like, we believed it up until this point.
I mean,
can I also mention how, did anybody else get the vibe that when Mark looked at that third sarcophagus, it almost felt like he didn't even want to know what was in there. He just looked at it and he was like, yeah, no. Like,
I don't know why. Personally, from what this show has been showing us between these two characters, one of them had to have at least wanted to open that. Because what I was thinking is the only way that your theory would make sense, Manda, is if the sarcophagus was a metaphor for like where they lie dormant in between personalities. I
like that.
But it doesn't make sense if Steven was freaking out in his, and then Jake was obviously freaking out in his.
But we also have to remember that Mark got shot twice. And we're talking about it on the Movie Files live stream as well, where Mark got shot twice. So that means he got shot for Mark and shot for Steven. So Elliot, Movie Files, suggested that maybe because he got shot twice, it's like both personalities and that Jake would feel that kind of. So that's also another explanation as to why like it could be in Jake's mind and he feels that, and then how their dormant personalities would switch over and what you're saying, maybe.
But I don't know how it would be in Jake's mind.
We'll find out. Hopefully.
I don't know. I guess I'm kind of underwhelmed with the way they're developing and kind of unraveling just like the whole backstory of Mark Spector. I liked where it started in the beginning, but then it felt kind of odd when they kind of took precedence in the Layla storyline this week over the Mark storyline, which I feel like it should have been opposite around, in my opinion, just because I feel like I more know about a secondary character than I do about our own main character at this point. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for someone who doesn't know anything other than Mark Spector's mercenary, I'm
I know.
I'm still kind of lost on that aspect. So, and then that goes ahead and freaks me out even more because if they spend all this time in the next episode discussing all of that, Khonshu is probably only going to come back at the end of the episode for maybe 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like the end of the episode is probably going to be him obtaining the power again.
Well, sorry.
No, yeah,
Press.
go ahead.
Press. I was not lucky enough to get episode 5, but they sent it out. And there were some people tweeting their reactions, and it's like way more Mark heavy apparently. So I think we're gonna get like flashbacks in 5 to kind of see his mercenary background from what
I think we're getting a WandaVision episode 8. That's exactly what I think we're getting.
Ooh.
Where we kind of go through this voidish type of chapters in his life that kind of led him up to
I love
like
that
his
episode.
moment. No,
Right?
yeah, I think that's why they're
Pretty
doing
cool.
it again. I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of, right?
And also, right, just to kind of speak to why they're kind of like leaving us in the dark. One of my favorite things about this series is the mystery, and I think that they're really saving these details for later to just have us like invested in what's going on, and then I think they're gonna give it to us, and maybe
Yeah,
they're
but, like,
taking a little too long, but
I want to know more about Harrow too, because you still don't know shit about him. You don't
Yeah.
really.
Also,
If I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I'm pretty sure we still don't know what his end game is. We don't know what's happening with the Mit's tomb,
yeah.
why it's super important. It's kind of obvious that the Egyptian gods jury that they went to last week is kind of, I don't know if it's exactly like this, but they're kind of on his payroll. Like they secretly know what he's doing and they want it hush hush. But
you're
Caitlin
speaking to
did.
Caitlin down below.
No,
Thanks
yeah,
for joining us,
I
by the way,
literally brought
Caitlin.
this up to
Thank
Amanda
you.
as soon as I finished the episode.
Mm.
Marvel needs to stop thinking every single show needs to be 6 episodes.
Yeah.
There's some shows it works for, there's some it doesn't. It didn't work for WandaVision, and they didn't do it for WandaVision. It didn't work for What If, they didn't do it for What If. I don't know why it worked for Loki. It's not working for this. It worked for Hawkeye, in my opinion. I know people might disagree on that, but I think this could do with another episode or 2, possibly 8 episodes. And I don't know like what the hesitation is in that aspect. I don't know. I really feel like there's a Marvel Disney time constraint to 6 episodes. But what I will say though is I noticed this morning while looking back at the episodes, like just as them listed. This is the most consistent show out of all the Marvel shows with their run times. I'm pretty sure all 4 are all 52 minutes.
Yep.
So I will say it might be a minor difference, but it's a step in the right track, baby. It's a step in the right track.
I think that
You know,
they're
going
just
back
having.
to our-
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead, Lo.
Amanda.
No,
I was
go
just
ahead.
going
Lo.
back.
No,
Well, I was just saying,
no,
going
you
back
keep
to our
talking.
theories of what's going on. I really like this. I guess this is from a different stream, but Caitlin said in the movie files stream that the last sequence could just be the subconscious of the body itself, and then these like different personalities are meeting inside of the body, and I think that's kind of interesting too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the only thing against that is like, how would Harrow be there and working that?
True.
How would-
Yeah,
It
it
could be a
definitely feels like-
projection
And
of something.
And I think the way they shot it, the way they edited it, is leaning towards Harrow is there. He might not physically be there, but mentally he is there. You know what I mean? He might.
I have
be
two
there.
theories.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
So it's either magic, like brain magic, or B, he has the machine from Inception, and he's strapped into freaking Steven's arm.
I like that. Let's do a crossover. Let DiCaprio come to the MCU. We're good.
Honestly, that's
He shows up. I am your subconscious security
Could you
system.
imagine a Leo cameo? Oh my god!
oh my god, dude, stop. I don't want to see Leo DiCaprio in the MCU.
Neither do I.
He's fine with Martin Scorsese. He can stay there. No, but we got to talk about I don't get why everyone's freaking out about this. I feel like I might be missing something with the reveal of King Alexander at the end being a fucking female hippo.
That's not who she is.
Was that?
Wait, hold on.
That's
Amanda,
another
do you
god.
know who the hippo is?
It's another god.
But you don't know who it is, right?
I don't know who it is, but it's another god. So that god is the.
I thought it was Alexander the Great because the way.
No. So this will help you actually. This little tidbit. She's the goddess of fertility.
But you don't know her name?
I forgot her name. It starts with a T something. I don't know what it is.
Wait, Steven explained this, didn't he, when he was in the tomb?
Yes, and then they explained
I gotta
it in
rewatch
the first
it.
episode. We know where the hippo stuffed animals were in the museum, and he explained it. There you go. Thank you, Caitlin, so much. Tara, there you go.
That's right.
So-
Yeah. Tariq.
that-
That's right.
that
That's a few
hippo-
episodes ago.
Her role basically is to guide people in this like void area to their afterlife. Basically, that's what her role is that she guides them. So that would be pretty cool if it's an afterlife.
Guys, not to
Okay.
derail us, but I'm killer Madagascar
Tyler.
reference here. Oh, so chunky.
I think that's what we were all waiting for when that fucking door opened. We were just waiting for an old chunky moment coming up.
And also, isn't that what's his name from Black Eyed Peas? Will.i.am. So
Yeah.
chunky.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh my
Yeah, it
god,
is.
I gotta watch it again.
No, but yeah,
That's
okay,
awesome.
that
Thank you,
clears
Tyler.
a few things up because I definitely thought
Yeah, you're welcome.
that was like King Alexander, like the great Alexander coming back as a female hippo. I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck? I wanted to rewatch the episode to try and clear things up, but I never got a chance to today, and I kind of got fucked as it seems that in that aspect. But
Okay, this is why we do these discussions.
no, yeah, let's get
Understand.
into some final score, guys, and
Mhm.
final thoughts, how we're enjoying the show, and what we think might be coming next for the next episode. Amanda, take us away.
Yeah, well, I love it. I'm obsessed with it.
Shocker.
I love this character almost as much as I love Captain America, and you guys know how much I love Cap. So I'm really happy that I found this character and that I've been introduced to Moon Knight. I think he's so complex and he has so many layers, and I would love to dive into some comics because I know that Marvel's not really going to expand on this character in the way that I would want them to, considering this is a limited series. So I don't know when we're going to see Moon Knight again, but I'm sitting at like a 9 out of 10 for this episode. It's my favorite out of the 4, and I'm really excited to see what happens in 5 and 6.
What about you, Loretta?
I'm not gonna lie, I am quite flabbergasted at how much I enjoyed this episode, considering we didn't get any suit action, any like really like nitty gritty kind of like kung fu kind of action. But really though, I'm all along for the adventure. I'm all along for the Indiana Jones type of I can't say the word, excavating into these tombs. And my favorite moment, honestly, was just Steven and Layla working together. I just loved how, like, she's asking him about what happened to her father, and he's like, oh, I found the thing. I had to dig my hand into Alexander the Great's gullet, but I found it. Like, he's just so, like, innocent. Like, he doesn't even know what the hell she's talking about. And also, oh, God, I lost my train of thought. But you know what? I'll give this, it's my favorite of the series so far. I'll give it like a 9.5-ish.
Yes.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one. There's the horror elements. I'm here for it. And yeah, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, that's it.
No, Loretta, you're all good. I agree with you guys. I only really enjoyed this episode, but like I said, that's not really a negative at the end of the day. And it's funny when I can say that, but not because there's no Moon Knight or the titular character anywhere. You know what I mean? It's not because I didn't get any of that cool fucking action. Yes, Loretta?
I found it. Sorry. My brain blast, Jimmy Neutron style. Okay, so here we go. So no, this is actually really important because one of the reasons why I like Steven as a character is established in the intro of the first episode is just he's a lonely guy. He's a kind of a loser. He's just kind of a lonely guy talking to freaking mannequins. And I love that within his personality, he found like a brother in Mark. Like there's like this bro bond that they've developed. So he found a brother in Mark. He found like the love of his life in Layla, who's just this badass, daughter of an archaeologist, and he loves Egyptian mythology. So I love this for him. Like he's just getting all these things falling into place for him, even though it's in a totally fucked up magical, mayhem. But like I love that for him. I think it's awesome.
No, yeah. Honestly, Lo, this show has been phenomenal so far. Well, I think episode 4 is like around an 8 for me. The rest of the show is like a 9.2. I fucking love it all. Just to get, I'm really curious. Like, regardless of how I felt towards this episode, I'm still here saying like, what the fuck's gonna happen next week? Because now that I understand it a little bit more, it's got me asking a little bit more questions. I won't deny that. But yeah, I love this show so far. And I agree. I'm very concerned that I don't really think they're going to do much with Oscar Isaac after this project. So I'm going to try and absorb all that shit in while I can. And guys, where can we find you, Amanda?
Yeah, you guys can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can check out Stefano Bove_art for these wicked caps on Instagram. So go check that out. I have my Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent review up on my website and my YouTube, and then I'm watching The Northman tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So I'm very excited.
Well, I'm sorry you're seeing The Northman before me.
I'm sorry too.
Fucking loser. That's besides the point. Loretto, baby Loretto, how are you doing, and where can we find you?
Hello, love. I'm doing fantastic. You can follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. Even though my Letterboxd is collecting cobwebs, I've just been so lost in Hyrule. I haven't been watching a whole lot of movies, and I haven't been logging. But I do have a lot of great reviews there if you guys are interested in that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm excited. I can't wait to do more review type stuff. I'm working on a discussion. I'm thinking about grouping together a group of reviews versus just focusing on one movie, and maybe we could talk about multiple films in one stream. Guys, what do you guys think about that?
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, because we got to do more reviews. We got to talk more films, and I think that'll be fun.
No,
like
yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
That's a vibe.
You know, I can talk about that shit all day.
Oh yeah.
Guys, as you know, you can just follow me at Just Ryan again, and follow me on Letterboxd at the Ryan Reviews or Ryan Reviews. It's one of the two. I'm sure you guys can find my gorgeous face on there at some point somehow. But that's not the point. Guys, if you want to stay up to date with all of our Marvel content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And guys, every Wednesday, we are doing new Marvel TV content. Except for May, we're going to do a Doctor Strange review. Then after that, we got a short break. We got some Obi-Wan at the end of the month, but then we got some Miss Marvel in June and a lot of stuff in between along with the May draft coming soon. So follow our Twitter so you guys can stay up to date on what our next draft is for season 2. And as per usual, from me, from Amanda, and from Loretto, we will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Okay, Loretto, I thought you were doing the outro.
It's all.